Welcome to Nighttime Narratives, a quiet corner of the world where stories drift like stardust, and the chaos of the day slowly melts into calm. Here, every night holds a new tale, gentle, magical, and made to ease your mind. So take a deep breath. Let go of the noise, the worries, the weight of today. Find comfort in the stillness, in the softness of words wrapped in silence. Get cozy, close your eyes, and let our story carry you somewhere beautiful. You're safe. You're here. And the night is just beginning. But as always, what we do before we start is listen to some relaxing music that will help us fall asleep. Imagine yourself floating among the clouds, floating on the sea. There was once a house so quiet, so hidden from the world, that even the stars whispered when they passed overhead. It sat on a small island in the center of a glassy lake, surrounded by cherry blossom trees that bloomed even when the seasons forgot their place. The air smelled like soft rain and old books, and every night, the moon rose so large and luminous that it seemed to be watching over the house like a guardian. In that house lived a girl named Alira. Alira had hair the color of twilight and a heart filled with wonder. She wasn't afraid of the dark, because the moon was always with her, casting its silver glow over the floorboards and gently rocking her to sleep with light alone. She didn't need clocks in her house. The moon told her the time. And when it dipped just behind the tallest cherry tree, Alira knew it was time for dreams. But this night was different. Alira sat by the window with a cup of honey tea, her toes tucked under a blanket. The moon was brighter than usual, close enough that she felt she could reach out and touch its cool surface. And for the first time in many years, a ripple crossed the still water outside. She leaned closer to the glass. There, on the edge of the island, stood a visitor. Not a person. Not quite an animal. It looked like a shadow given shape, tall and gentle, with a lantern made of starlight hanging from one hand. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. Alira could feel its thoughts as if they were drifting into her own. "The moon has chosen you," the being seemed to say. Alira didn't ask why. In the moonlight, questions are like seeds, they bloom only when they're ready. She wrapped herself in her cloak, stepped quietly down the wooden stairs, and opened the door to the soft sounds of the night. The air shimmered slightly as the visitor extended its hand. Alira took it, and together they stepped across the grass that never grew too tall and the flowers that never wilted. The visitor led her to the edge of the lake, where a path of glowing stones had appeared, stretching all the way across the water. It was like walking on stars. Each step sparkled, each breath was filled with the scent of cherry blossoms and dreams long forgotten. And the moon, so large and near, was no longer just above them. It was waiting. Floating above the center of the lake was a silver boat, carved from moonlight itself. It had no sails, no oars, and yet Alira knew it would carry her somewhere she had never been. Somewhere important. She looked back at her cozy house one last time, its windows glowing like fireflies in the dark. It would be waiting for her when she returned. She just knew it. The visitor gave her a small nod and stepped aside. Alira climbed into the boat. The moment she sat, the boat rose gently from the water and began to glide upward, toward the moon, toward whatever stories waited in its quiet, glowing heart. And as the lake and the cherry blossoms faded beneath her, Alira closed her eyes, and the stars above began to hum a lullaby only dreamers could hear. Let me know when you want the next part. Crescent Moon. The lullaby grew louder, not with sound, but with feeling, like a memory you couldn't place but knew belonged to you. Alira sat still in the silver boat as it carried her higher, past drifting clouds shaped like forgotten thoughts and winds that whispered her name like an old friend. The moon loomed ahead, and as it grew closer, she saw it wasn't smooth like she had always imagined. It was alive with forests of crystal trees and rivers of light that danced like silk across its surface. When the boat touched down, it did so without a sound. The moon felt soft beneath her feet, like powdered snow warmed by candlelight. Alira stepped out, her eyes wide with wonder. Waiting for her was a small creature with long ears, shimmering fur, and eyes that looked like they had seen every dream ever dreamed. It bowed politely. You were early, it said, with a voice like wind chimes and rain on rooftops. But perhaps that is best. The dream orchard is waking. Alira followed the creature through glowing groves where fruits of light grew on silver branches. Each fruit, the creature explained, was a dream, someone's hope, someone's fear, someone's wish whispered in sleep. The orchard was tended by the moonfolk, who kept the balance of dreams and made sure nightmares never grew too large. Alira paused under one of the trees, where a single glowing fruit pulsed gently in the darkness. That one's mine, she whispered, though she didn't know how she knew. The creature nodded. It's an old dream. You planted it when you were small. Most forget they've ever been here. But Alira hadn't forgotten. Not really. Sometimes, when she woke up, there was the scent of blossoms in her hair or a flicker of silver light on her pillow. Now she knew why. As they walked, the moon above them shifted in color, lavender, then gold, then soft blue. Each hue brought a different feeling, peace, curiosity, joy. The path curved upward, toward a hill that overlooked the entire orchard. From there, Alira could see the earth, distant and blue, hanging in the sky like a marble forgotten in a pocket. She sat at the top of the hill, wrapping her arms around her knees. Why am I here? She finally asked. The creature sat beside her. Because the moon remembers every child who once believed the night could talk. And you still do. Alira smiled at that. A wind stirred the orchard below. Somewhere far off, one of the dream fruits burst open, sending sparks into the sky like fireflies returning home. Will I stay here forever? Only until it's time, the creature said gently. Time to return. But you won't come back the same. No one ever does. Alira lay back on the soft moon grass, gazing up at the stars that looked close enough to touch. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. The moon sang its song, low and kind, wrapping her in a cocoon of silver warmth. And Alira dreamed. Alira's dream was unlike any she had ever had before. She drifted through constellations that danced in patterns only the heart could understand. She walked on bridges made of wind, each step carrying her across memories she hadn't lived yet. She saw laughter trapped in bubbles floating above a sea of time, and tears crystallized into stars waiting to be wished upon. When she awoke, she was not alone. Standing beside her was a figure robed in moonlight. Its face was hidden behind a veil of mist, but its presence felt kind and impossibly old. "You are the last child to visit this cycle," the figure said in a voice that sounded like it had been carved from silence. "And so you must choose." Alira sat up. The grass beneath her glowed softly in rhythm with her breath. "Choose what?" she asked. The figure extended its hand, and a silver key appeared, shaped like a crescent moon. At the same time, the earth below shimmered, revealing a path that led down into the roots of the dream orchard, a glowing tunnel spiraling into the unknown. "There is a room at the heart of the moon," the figure said. "It holds all forgotten dreams. You may enter and retrieve one, for yourself or for someone else. But only one." Alira held the key gently, its metal cold but humming with magic. "What happens if I take one? You will bring it back to the world. And someone, somewhere, will remember what they once hoped for. Or you will find something you didn't know you lost." Alira nodded, her heart steady. The moon had always whispered to her. Now, it was time to listen fully. She followed the glowing path downward, into the belly of the moon. The tunnel curved like a spiral shell, each wall painted with moving stories, children building castles of starlight, lonely travelers holding lanterns in the dark, and creatures made of ink and wonder fluttering across empty skies. At the end of the path, there was a door. Ancient, wooden, and warm to the touch. The key turned without resistance. Inside was a chamber filled with floating orbs, dreams, thousands of them, suspended in midair like fireflies frozen in time. Each one glowed a different color, whispered a different song. And then she saw it. A soft blue light, trembling slightly, pulsing with familiarity. Alira reached for it. The moment her fingers touched the orb, it unfolded into a vision, a memory of herself as a small girl, standing on a hill with her arms outstretched, whispering into the night. I wish the world could feel like this forever." That was the dream. Not just hers, but a dream for everyone, for peace, for stillness, for magic that stayed even when you grew older. She held it close. The chamber dimmed, and a gentle wind guided her back up the spiral path. When she emerged, the moon was beginning to fade, its silver surface dissolving into early dawn. The creature with the long ears was waiting. "You chose well," it said. "Now, you must return." Alira nodded. She walked back to the silver boat, holding the glowing dream in both hands. As she sat down, the boat lifted from the moon and began its descent, gliding silently back to the low lake island she called home. The cherry trees were blooming as if they had missed her, and the house stood with its windows warm and waiting. The moon, now far above in the sky, winked once and was gone behind the mountains. Alira stepped onto the grass. She looked at the dream in her hands, still glowing softly, and raised it to the wind. It dissolved like mist, carried away on the morning breeze. And somewhere, far away, a lonely boy opened his eyes and smiled for the first time in weeks. A mother hugged her child without knowing why. A bird sang a song no one had heard before. Because dreams, when returned to the world, always find the hearts that need them most. Alira went inside, curled up with her blanket, and fell into a deep, peaceful sleep. The kind of sleep only the moon can give. As Alira slept, her dreams were quiet and gentle, but in the stillness of the night, something new began to stir in the world. It was a whisper, faint at first, carried on the soft winds that blew through the cherry blossoms. The trees seemed to bend and sway in time with a rhythm they had never known before, as though they were listening to a song only they could hear. Somewhere in the distance, the first rays of dawn began to stretch across the horizon, but the sky was still deep with the last remnants of night. And within that night, something ancient stirred, a presence that had been waiting. A voice echoed in Alira's mind, soft as the moonlight that had once guided her across the lake. The dream orchard may sleep, but dreams are never truly forgotten. You, Alira, have planted something that will grow in places you may never see. But it is up to you to decide if that seed will blossom into a hope or wither into a memory. Alira stirred in her sleep, her brow furrowing as the words lingered in her mind. They were like a forgotten melody, one she had heard once but couldn't quite recall. She tossed under her blanket, the moonlight casting a gentle glow on her face. The wind outside shifted, brushing against her window like a sigh. It was as though the world itself had exhaled in anticipation. The following evening, as Alira sat once again by the window, the moon was a mere sliver in the sky. The air was still, but there was a sense of waiting. The house felt different, more alive, somehow, as though it had absorbed the magic of her journey. The cherry blossoms, now fully in bloom, seemed to glow with a soft inner light. Alira smiled, a sense of peace settling over her. But then, as she glanced across the lake, she saw something that made her heart skip a beat. A figure, standing at the water's edge. It was cloaked in shadows, but there was something familiar about it. Her heart raced as she rose to her feet, the cup of tea forgotten on the table. The visitor, once again, had returned. But this time, the being was not alone. Beside it stood another, this one smaller and shimmering, like the creature from the moon, with fur that gleamed like stardust. It looked at Alira with knowing eyes, its gaze gentle but filled with something she couldn't quite place. Alira, the figure spoke softly, its voice warm and full of promise. You have chosen wisely. But there is still much to be done. Alira stepped forward, not out of fear, but out of a quiet, growing curiosity. She wasn't afraid of what lay ahead. How could she be, when the moon had always been her companion, lighting her path even in the darkest of times? What is it you ask of me? She asked, her voice calm but with a tinge of wonder. The being looked at her, its form shifting like smoke in the breeze. There is more to dreams than what you have seen, it said, its tone carrying the weight of ages. The world you know is but one of many, Alira, and you have the power to bridge the gap between them. There are other realms where dreams are born and where they sometimes fade away. But some of them need a protector. You are that protector. The small creature stepped forward, offering her something, a small, crystalline sphere, much like the one she had seen on the moon, but with a soft, radiant glow. This is a dream seed, the being explained. You must plant it in the world. It will grow into something that the world needs. But you must choose where. Alira took the dream seed in her hands, its warmth filling her. She looked at it, feeling the pulse of the dream within it, its potential. Her fingers curled around it, as if it were already part of her. I understand, she whispered, though the weight of what was being asked of her was not lost. This was no simple journey, it was a new beginning. A path she would have to walk with both grace and courage. The visitor nodded, its form flickering like the stars overhead. You have the heart for it. The time has come for you to choose. And just like that, Alira knew. The choice was hers, and it would not be easy. But she also knew that she had always been ready for this moment, even before she had stepped out of her home that fateful night. Alira turned back to the house, where the light from the windows seemed to beckon her. With the dream seed in her hands, she made her way down to the shore, where the silver boat awaited her once again. This time, however, there was no need for words. She knew what she must do. And as the boat lifted from the water, carried by the moon's light once more, Alira made her way toward the unknown, where new dreams would be born and where the world would once again change. The journey was not over. It had only just begun. The boat glided silently across the water, its silver glow casting ripples of starlight on the lake's surface. Alira's heart was full of quiet determination. The dream seed rested in her palm, its warmth radiating through her fingers like a heartbeat of the universe itself. As the boat drifted further from the island, the world around her began to shift. The moon, no longer a silent observer, began to pulse softly, its light shifting from silver to a deeper, more vibrant hue, an ethereal gold that bathed the entire sky. It felt as though the very air was alive with anticipation. Alira glanced down at the water. Beneath its glassy surface, she saw flashes of unfamiliar places, forests, fields, distant cities bathed in starlight. She realized, with a quiet awe, that the lake was more than just water. It was a mirror, a connection between realms, a guide for those who were meant to travel between them. The boat rose higher, carried by an unseen current, until it reached the sky itself. Alira's eyes widened as she saw that the stars were not fixed in the sky. They were like living constellations, swirling in patterns of ancient stories. Each star was a point of light that pulsed with the energy of dreams, wishes, and forgotten memories. At the heart of the swirling sky stood a gateway, glowing like a ripple through the fabric of the universe. It was not a door, nor a window, but something in between, a shimmering threshold where all things seemed possible. The boat sailed toward it, the dream seed pulsing more brightly with each passing moment. As they approached, the sky around them seemed to open, revealing a world unlike any Alira had ever imagined. The realm she was entering was not like the moon or the orchard of dreams. It was a living tapestry, woven from the very threads of existence itself. Trees of crystal and light stretched toward the heavens, their branches reaching for the stars. Rivers of liquid silver ran through fields of flowers that bloomed with every color of the rainbow. In the distance, she could see towering mountains made of light and shadow, their peaks touching the edges of the stars themselves. "This is the realm of possibilities," the visitor's voice echoed from the shadows. It had no shape, no form, but it was there, surrounding her. "It is where all dreams begin, but also where they can be lost. Here, the seeds of the world are sown, but they need a caretaker, a protector." Alira felt a shiver of recognition, as though something deep within her was awakening. She looked down at the dream seed, its glow brighter than ever. It was calling to this realm, and it was ready to bloom. The boat continued its journey, bringing Alira closer to the heart of the realm. As she moved forward, she saw something remarkable, a field of glowing flowers, each one made of pure starlight, blooming in her presence. They seemed to recognize her, as if the realm itself had been waiting for her arrival. "Each dream you bring to life will sprout here," the voice continued, its tone both gentle and powerful. "And each dream will find its place in the world. But not all dreams are meant for the same place, nor do they all grow in the same way." Alira nodded, understanding. This was not a place to create anything and everything. It was a place to nurture what was needed, what the world was ready for. And the dream seed in her hand would be the key to that balance. She reached out, placing the dream seed gently on the ground. Immediately, the soil beneath her hands began to glow, the seed sinking into the earth as if the ground itself was eager to embrace it. A soft hum filled the air as the dream seed began to sprout, its light radiating outwards in all directions, sending ripples of energy across the realm. As the seed grew, Alira saw it take shape, a single tree, its trunk made of shimmering stardust, its branches heavy with blossoms that glowed like the moon. Each blossom was a dream, a wish, a hope, a longing. And the tree, rooted deeply in the realm of possibilities, began to sway with the winds of creation. "This tree will guide the dreams of the world," the voice said, now closer, surrounding her. "It will carry them to the places where they are needed most. But it must be tended to, Alira. Dreams are fragile. They need care, and they need a protector." The tree shimmered, its light growing stronger. Alira could feel its power, its warmth, its promise of something greater than herself. It was a dream made real, a dream that would touch countless lives. As the tree grew taller, a door appeared in the trunk, carved from the very light of the stars. The door opened, revealing a vast expanse of new possibilities, worlds, lives, and futures that were waiting to be shaped. The visitor's voice was now like a whisper in her ear. "It is time for you to decide, Alira. Will you remain here as the caretaker of this realm? Or will you return to the world you know, with the knowledge and power to guide the dreams that will shape it?" Alira stood at the threshold of the door, her heart torn between the two worlds. She had seen the beauty of the moon and the dream orchard, felt the pulse of creation in the realm of possibilities. But her home, her quiet house by the lake, was still calling to her. And then she understood. She did not have to choose. The dream of peace, the dream she had planted so long ago, was not meant to stay in one place. It needed to be shared. It needed to touch the hearts of everyone, everywhere. She could be the bridge between these worlds, the protector of dreams, guiding them where they were needed most. With a deep breath, Alira stepped forward, passing through the door and into the unknown. The boat began its descent once more, but this time, Alira's heart was lighter. She carried with her the power of the realm of possibilities, the dream tree, and all the dreams yet to be born. And as the first rays of dawn broke across the sky, Alira knew that this was only the beginning of her journey. The world, full of dreams and possibilities, awaited her. Alira's journey continued, and with each passing moment, the weight of her newfound purpose settled deeper into her soul. She had stepped beyond the boundary of her old world, crossing into realms where the very essence of creation pulsed with life. But now, as she sailed back across the lake, she could sense something unfamiliar stirring within her, an urgency, a pull toward the unseen. The boat, guided by unseen forces, began to move faster, slicing through the water with a quiet hum. The sky above, once painted with the soft hues of dawn, began to darken, as if it, too, sensed the shift. The stars blinked out, replaced by clouds that gathered like distant memories, heavy with anticipation. "Where are we going?" Alira whispered, though she already knew the answer. The realm of possibilities had changed her, but it had also left her with a question: what had she left behind? Ahead, the once tranquil shore began to shimmer, the water morphing into a mirror of gleaming light, reflecting back not only the present but all that had come before. She could see images, fragments of memories, her childhood, her quiet life by the lake, her first steps into the moonlit orchard. And then, the image shifted. The peaceful water rippled, disturbed by something approaching from afar. Alira felt a surge of energy coursing through her, a silent warning. Her fingers tightened around the dream seed, now glowing more brightly than ever. It was responding to the change, recognizing the arrival of someone who would challenge everything she had learned. In the distance, she saw the figure, dark and imposing, with wings made of shadow. The figure's presence was suffocating, its energy warping the space around it. It moved like a storm, calm but undeniable, as if it had always been there, just beyond the horizon. The Warden of Lost Dreams, the voice returned, its tone heavy with foreboding. He is not a villain, but he is a force to be reckoned with. He is the keeper of the dreams that were forgotten, the ones that have faded into oblivion. Alira's heart quickened. She knew she had to confront this figure, this warden, but how? She was only one soul, one person, and she carried the weight of an entire realm's possibilities in her hands. Would it be enough to protect everything she had come to care for? The figure drew nearer, its wings unfurling like a cloak of darkness, casting a shadow that swallowed the sky. The boat's speed increased, but Alira could feel the pull of the warden's presence, slowing her progress. The air grew thick, heavy with the weight of forgotten dreams. "You carry the dream seed," the warden's voice boomed, its echo reverberating through the water, through her very bones. "You think you can protect these fragile dreams? You think you can choose which ones should live and which ones should die?" Alira steeled herself, her voice steady as she replied, "Dreams are not meant to be forgotten. They are meant to be nurtured, to be protected. The world needs them to grow." The warden's laugh was a low rumble, like thunder rolling across the heavens. "And what are the dreams that cannot be saved? What are the ones that have outlived their time, the ones that were never meant to come true?" Alira looked down at the dream seed, its glow flickering like a pulse of light. She understood now, this was not just about protecting dreams. It was about understanding their nature, their cycles, and knowing when to let go. "The dreams that are meant to fade must fade," Alira said, her voice resolute. "But the ones that can still bloom, the ones that still have a place in this world, they deserve to be nurtured. You cannot stop them, Warden." The warden hovered before her, his shadowy wings folding around him like the night itself. "We shall see," he whispered, his voice a cold breeze that swept through the air. Before Alira could react, the warden extended a hand, and the very fabric of the sky seemed to crack. Shadows poured from his fingers, swirling around the boat, twisting the air itself. The water beneath her began to churn violently, the peaceful lake now a battlefield between light and darkness. But Alira was no longer afraid. The dream seed pulsed in her hand, and with a deep breath, she reached out, releasing the full power of the realm she had come to protect. Light erupted from her, a blinding wave of brilliance that pushed back the shadows and fractured the warden's form. "Enough!" the warden roared, his figure destabilizing as the light pressed forward, unraveling the darkness that clung to him. "You cannot banish me that easily, Dreamkeeper." Alira's heart raced, but she remained steady. "I am not banishing you," she said softly. "I am simply guiding you. Your time is not over, but the world has moved on. And so must you." The light grew stronger, enveloping the warden in its warmth. His shadowy form began to dissolve, absorbed by the energy of the dream seed and the force of Alira's resolve. With a final scream, the warden faded, his darkness dissipating into the air like smoke. As the last traces of shadow disappeared, the sky cleared, and the boat resumed its peaceful glide across the lake. Alira looked down at the dream seed, now pulsing with a soft, steady light. The battle was over, but she knew this was only one of many she would face. The world of dreams was vast, and her role as its protector was only just beginning. Alira's gaze lifted to the horizon, where the first rays of dawn began to break across the sky. The path ahead was unclear, but she now understood that the realm of possibilities was not just a place, it was a journey. And she would walk it, one step at a time, with the dream seed in her hand and the knowledge of her purpose in her heart. The world of dreams awaited her, and she would guard it, not with force, but with the quiet strength of one who understands the delicate balance between light and shadow. As the boat gently glided through the still waters, Alira's heart slowed, finding peace once more in the quiet after the storm. The dream seed in her hand pulsed softly, a constant reminder of the power and responsibility now entrusted to her. The sky above was slowly brightening, with streaks of gold and lavender blending into the blue canvas. She knew that this was just a new beginning, a chapter of infinite possibilities. Her thoughts lingered on the warden of lost dreams. He had been a force of resistance, but not an enemy in the truest sense. He had only been a part of the greater cycle, the inevitable fading of all things to make room for new growth. Alira understood this now. She was not just protecting dreams, but guiding them through their various phases, nurturing the ones that could still bloom and gently letting go of the ones whose time had passed. Yet, the weight of her task still pressed on her shoulders. She was alone in this vast, ever-shifting realm, where time and space were not fixed but fluid, and where every choice she made would ripple out, shaping the future in unseen ways. But as the boat reached the farthest edge of the lake, the air grew cooler, and the water shimmered with an ethereal light. Alira could feel something else in the distance, a subtle shift in the atmosphere, as if the very fabric of the dream world was calling her towards something important. Ahead, the shores began to take shape, their outlines becoming clearer with each passing moment. There were no trees or hills, no familiar features, just an endless horizon of soft light that seemed to stretch on forever. As she approached, the boat slowly came to a halt, drawn toward an island that had not been there before. The island was small, but it was teeming with energy, a force unlike any Alira had ever felt. The ground shimmered with golden dust, and the air was thick with a kind of magic that made her feel both grounded and weightless at once. It felt like a place of transition, a place between what had been and what was yet to come. Stepping from the boat onto the island, Alira felt the dream sea pulse even brighter, almost as if it were responding to the very essence of the land beneath her feet. This was a place where the forgotten dreams, those that could no longer exist in their original form, could be transformed into something new. In the center of the island stood a towering structure, a spiral of stone that seemed to grow from the very earth itself. It was ancient, worn by time yet still standing strong, its surface etched with runes and symbols that Alira could not immediately understand. The stone seemed alive, humming with a soft, melodic rhythm that resonated with her own heartbeat. A figure appeared at the entrance of the spiral, their face hidden in the shadow of a hood. The figure was tall and cloaked in flowing robes that shimmered with an iridescent glow, like the reflection of stars on water. Their presence was calming yet powerful, like the stillness before a storm. "Welcome, Alira," the figure said, their voice like a whisper in the wind, but carrying an undeniable weight. "I have been waiting for you." Alira's pulse quickened, though she remained steady, her gaze fixed on the figure. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice carrying both curiosity and caution. The figure smiled, a slow, knowing smile. "I am the keeper of forgotten dreams," they said. "It is my role to ensure that no dream, no matter how lost or faded, ever truly disappears. And it is you, Dream Keeper, who has been chosen to help me in this task." Alira felt a twinge of confusion. "I thought I was meant to protect the dreams that could still bloom, not those that have already been lost." The Keeper nodded. "Yes, you have that role, but you are also a bridge, Alira. You have the power to transform, to reshape. Not all dreams can remain as they once were, but that does not mean they are beyond saving. Some must be remade, reborn into something new, something that can still grow." The Keeper extended a hand, motioning toward the spiral tower. "Come, I will show you how." With a deep breath, Alira stepped forward, her heart filled with both uncertainty and anticipation. The air around her shimmered as she followed the Keeper into the spiral. The walls of the tower were lined with crystals that glowed faintly, casting a soft light that illuminated the path ahead. As they climbed higher, the air grew thick with magic, the very essence of dreams swirling around them. At the top of the tower, a large, open chamber waited. In the center of the room was a pool of water, but it was unlike any Alira had ever seen. The water was dark, almost black, but it shimmered with the reflection of countless stars. As she approached, she saw that the pool was not merely water, it was a mirror of the soul, a reflection of all that had been and all that could be. "This is the heart of forgotten dreams," the Keeper said, their voice barely a whisper. "Here, all dreams that have faded gather. They are not lost, merely waiting for someone who can breathe new life into them." Alira stared into the pool, and as she did, fragments of forgotten dreams began to emerge from its depths, visions of people, places, and things long abandoned. Some were beautiful, others tragic, but all held a story a spark of something that had once been alive. The keeper's voice was soft but filled with purpose. The dreams that are forgotten are not always bad. Some simply outlive their time, their purpose fulfilled. But others are waiting for a new chance, a new form. And that is where you come in. You, Dream Keeper, have the power to bring them back to life, not as they were, but as they are meant to be. Alira stepped closer to the pool, her fingers brushing the surface of the water. As she did, the dreams began to swirl around her, their forms shifting and changing like smoke. The air was thick with potential, with infinite possibilities. And in that moment, Alira understood. She was not just a protector of dreams, she was a creator, a reshaper of all things that could be. The realm of dreams was vast, and she had the power to guide it, to bring balance between the old and the new, between the forgotten and the yet to be. With the dream seed in her hand, Alira closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She had found her true purpose, not to save the dreams, but to give them a chance to live again. And as the first light of dawn broke across the horizon, Alira stepped forward into the heart of forgotten dreams, ready to begin her true journey. Thank you for joining us tonight on Nighttime Narratives. May your dreams be kind, your heart be light, and your sleep be deep and peaceful. Until next time, rest well and good night.